start putting some lines on if I'll be on time or not. Good. Just,
I don't think that's an NCAA sport, so I can bet on that.
you could bet on that. You might have some inside information too. Let's see. For me, I think we did what we're supposed to do. We beat the guys we were supposed to. We're in a few of those matches. But, man, if you're a good team, you're a good team. You're a good team all the time. You're consistent in how you perform, and you're a high-level performer. That's what you do. You prepare in a way that you can perform at an incredibly high level every week, every opportunity you get. And I feel like we're doing a real good job of that as a group. And then, we had a group of, I think, 12 guys maybe go over to Loris and, 6 champs, and a lot of guys winning a lot of matches, but more than anything, how they're competing, wrestling through positions, wrestling through situations, mat returns, and just being gritty and tough. That's the feedback I got from that tournament, and I feel like our guys are doing that too. And seems, there's a little bit of connection of hustle, effort, fight, staying in matches, and results. They match up. We just got to continue to do that. It should be good for us to have this week off, get some training in, get a little break in. We're 5 weeks from the conference tournament, so you're not quite zeroed in on it, but you're certainly getting, to that time of year. We've already flipped the calendar to February, and January was really important how we came out of January. There was some things that we talked about doing. There's some things that, at least in my head, how I wanted us going into February, and we're in that place. So I'll give our guys a lot of credit because, how January started wasn't great. So they've responded since then, and I think that's what great teams do. They respond, and they overcome, they adapt, whatever it is. But our guys have a little bit of momentum, and as a group, and you start looking at a guy like Schwab. Schwab's wrestling great. This is the best that he's wrestled. It's not even a question. I mean, he's hitting great attacks. He's going out and he's scoring points, putting guys away. I think he's. I know they use time for NCAA leader in falls, but I know he's got 11 Division I falls, and I don't think anyone has more. I think there's a couple guys that each have 11. So that's something he came in the season wanting to do, and good thing is he's still got matches left to be able to get some more. But really like how he's competing. Scuds, just put more into the match. We talked about it. When he's snapping and he's hustling and he's making guys work, man, that's when he's best. And he's had some really good wins this year. Just got to be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing for all of our guys is if we're hot and cold in a tournament, you're in the backside. If you're hot and cold in a tournament, you're maybe going 2-2 or 3-2 in the national tournament. So we have to be able to be consistent, for 3 days, 5, if you're looking at winning a national title, 5 matches. And I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I'm saying that's what we're preparing for. That consistency and performance and really high level, man. And I like where our guys' heads are at. 41, Mikey, he gave himself a chance to win that match. They wrestled in Las Vegas, and it was a pretty one-sided match. Made a few adjustments and was in deep on a leg a couple times. I'm not gonna fault the guy for turning a match around that he would get beat by 9-10 points to where it was in overtime, and he had a chance to win the match. So great adjustments by him. Just obviously want to get over that hump. Max, just continue to build your lead. 57, and you get down 8-1. That makes it tough. Fought off his back. That guy came out ready to wrestle, and he was getting snapped a little bit and probably overreacting a little bit. Just got to be able to come forward. Got to be able to come forward and stay in that fight. 65, they'd won, 3 of 5 matches, the first 5. So you ain't coming out and just kind of putting it on the guy, getting bonus points, rode him really hard. I think he had about 5 minutes of riding time, and that's good. That's good for us. Worked hard to try to turn the whole time. Real good match. And Steyert's wrestling really well. I don't know what else to say. He's wrestling as well as anybody in the country. That guy's a very dangerous wrestler. makes things tough, situations tough, and he hit some really good attacks. He kept attacking. He didn't back off that, but picked his spots well and handled and controlled the match. Lou controlled the match, looking for a fall, which, you love guys looking for big points. But another win, 97. Patton, he gave himself a chance to win the match. I mean, that's all we can ask in that situation. Guy goes out there and fights and battles, and, his teammates were all patting him on the back, and he didn't win the match. It was just, hey, look at the effort. Look at us staying in there and giving us a chance, giving your team a chance, giving yourself a chance. You can applaud that. And, unfortunately, you get injuries, you get some things that happen, and you got to have a guy step up. And he stepped up, and he didn't win a match. But that guy's a top 15 guy in the country at 97. And actually, it's a really, really deep weight in our conference. There's probably going to be eight probably for sure spots. So, you put a guy in there. In my head, I'm like, let's go steal one of those spots. Whoever it's going to end up being. But, man, Patton gave himself a chance. And then, Carter starting a match and ending a match with falls, that's always good. Bonus points are really good. They said the report I got from guys over in Loris was we competed really hard, scored a lot of points, had a champ. We had champ at 41, 49, 57, 65 co-champs, 84, and 97, and scored a lot of bonus points, scored a lot of points. So, really good for our guys to get back out there. We hadn't been, most guys hadn't been out maybe since the UNI Open. So, it was good for those guys to compete again, and I know that they feel more prepared. And that's kind of, hey, man, even though we're not competing, we still got to be moving forward. And we got a lot of momentum now as a group, and just got to continue to build it, for these next 5 weeks until the Big 12s, and then ultimately till Minneapolis. So, like I said, happy where the team's at. We'll get a good week of training, and we'll be ready to roll next week. Our last home duel. No better place to spend Valentine's night than the West Gym. You get nice and you can get nice and snuggled in, close to one another. So we'd love to have a large group be able to send these seniors out the right way, because this group's done a whole lot to move our program forward. And obviously that's not finished, and it'll never be finished. But I'm saying they've done an incredible job of helping move our program forward and to new heights. So get out the 14th, and then we'll be over in Ames on the 16th, and then over to Wisconsin on the 20th. So we got a good little run coming. All close duels, So be a good chance for a lot of fans to get out and watch the Panthers. But I guess any questions?
How close is it, or how hard of a decision is going to be at 57? You got several guys there. He's had a good 10 days.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I think we all wish we had a crystal ball to be able to know who's going to be where they need to be. Obviously, you liked how that guy's competed. He won a big match in here. Looked good over in that tournament. And, Peyton's still, I don't want to say working back into things, but, that was the first competition he's had since, the Utah Valley meet. So, you're almost going on a month. I don't know. Yeah, it's good to have options. It's good to have 2 guys or 3 guys. I don't have an answer for you right now. You'd like to have it clear cut more than it is. It's certainly not. To me, it's not clear cut right now. And we'll see. We'll see moving forward. We've done different things before, but I don't know. It's something I got to sit down and really see where guys are at. But
after trailing at the break at Oklahoma, you come out and win the first 3 and 4 of the last 5. In that locker, do you have some motivational things you talk about, or how do you have them come out that well after the?
Look at the guys. 74, 84. Those are 2 guys that we can point to every single time. Hey, they're gonna go out and scrap in a way, and I think they both only have 2 losses on the year. They've been scoring a lot of points, and just how he's competing, I think it helps. He stays in the fight. He battles. He's in. Guys can get behind that. There's not a whole lot to say other than, hey man, Oklahoma's come out to win this thing. I mean, they won three of the first 5 matches, which I think on paper they probably figured they would, and they need to steal one or two of these, and you just don't let them. You just go put it on them, and like I said, he put it on them from start to finish, and kind of every one of those guys did. But man, I trust our guys no matter who's stepping out there. But it's good to when you can roll out those guys in a row. I mean, it's a great thing.
That win puts you on top of the Big 12 standings with
Mm-hmm.
a 5-1 record. How do you feel, or what do you talk about that? Whatever the sport is, it's always nice to be on the top of the standings. Is that kind of a similar feeling when you look at the Big 12 wrestling?
I don't know. I mean, we don't all get to wrestle each other though. That's the only thing, So it's not. I mean, it's. We just got to take care of the next one, West Virginia. And we got Iowa State. We still have 2 Big 12 duels. I mean, obviously, you want to go undefeated in Big 12 duels. That South Dakota State, they made sure they spoiled that for us. But I don't know. If we all wrestled each other, I think it would be different. I mean, if every single team wrestled each other, I think a couple years ago, I think South Dakota State anointed themselves as co-champs or something, even though they didn't wrestle Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State was undefeated. And I don't know. I mean, we want to finish the Big 12 7-1, and then if there's 2 7-1 teams and the other one happens to be Oklahoma State, then I guess you can figure that out from there who would be the dual champion, so to speak. But man, we want to win the Big 12 tournament, and we just want to continue to wrestle really well and raise our level, which I think we've done. But man, we got 3 duels left, and if we continue to raise our level in all those duels, and you finish out on kind of the way we're going, you go into the Big 12 tournament with a lot of momentum and a lot of guys ready to wrestle and score a whole lot of points and get 10 guys in the national tournament, and then you kind of go from there.
Talk about Bryce. As much as as hard worker as he is in the room, this is a guy that works hard at life.
Yeah.
He's 80 hours a week in the summer doing something.
Yeah.
This is an individual just highly motivated for life.
Yeah, I mean, he does everything high level. I mean, that's who he is. And you start talking with him, I'm like, this guy's, he's way above my head already. Lord, I mean, just the things that he's already doing and thinking about. And then, you try to get a guy, so, hey, you also remember that this is the only time that you have to do this, right? Like, make sure that, the focus stays firmly fixed on these next months and this last season. And he's done a good job of that, man. But I think if he didn't have some things going on, I think his mind would be going too fast. So having 8,000 things is good for him, man. But talk about a guy that's focused and locked in, and really paying attention to details. Some things that, I mean, he's at another level, and I think another level of confidence right now. Like, I mean, I've always seen it in the room, and I'm like, and if you ask the guys, I mean, I think, we've had guys that will talk about, like, man, who's the toughest guy in the room? And they're like, well, Steyert. Who's the guy, and I mean, it's almost every guy to a man, like Steyert. Steyert, don't matter if you're talking to, you're talking to Drew or you're talking to Carter. Heisley, like Steyert. But man, I really, man, couldn't be happier with how he's competing, how much he's putting himself underneath guys and kind of challenged him. I challenged him to give himself more opportunities in those matches and really trust your offense. His defense is great, but man, you score a lot more points with your offense. So I think he just attacks everything, man. In life, he's doing everything at a really high level. He's attacking everything, and man, he's attacking on the mat right now, and he's focused and locked in, and he's ready to finish this wrestling career right. But you talk about all those other things, and like this is the last chunk of time he has for this. So we make sure that just, man, let's get the most out of this, and all those other things, they'll be there. But I'd have to bring a baseball bat or some other weapon right now to be able to do anything to that guy. And I really like that as a coach. I don't like that if I have to grab a hold of him, but I guess I don't get to grab a hold of him anymore because I stopped doing that after maybe last year. But man, he's in a really good place. So
when you get a 2-week break like this,
Mm-hmm.
as far as competition, and it's this late in the season, what's the focus over the next few days, practice-wise? Is it time to take a little time off? Do you
Little both. Yeah, a little break. We'll have a couple days, then we'll hit a small cycle, a couple days off, and then we kind of get back into our rather regular routine next week. In I'm gonna, if you want to win a national title, you gotta be ready for 3 days. 1 day's not enough. 2 days not enough. 3 days. So we're gonna have a tough 3 hard days. Then we'll have a couple days off, and like I said, then next week we'll be kind of back onto our routine. But I'm glad we got this week. Looking at the schedule, and sometimes like crafting a schedule, it's an important part of the process. And we take a lot of time on it, and one of the duel right after Midlands, that was not ideal. It's not how I would have drawn it up, but when you can only have one date, or a team only gives you one date, then okay, you have the duel or don't have the duel, and we had the duel. But our teams responded well from that. And, I just say, hey, man, we put ourselves under the gun a little bit. And that's what we're going to do when we come back. You talk about, you got a Friday, a Sunday, and a Thursday. That's putting yourself under the gun a little bit. And our guys are going to have to get up and respond to that. But, you ask this week will be, they're going to get pushed hard, but they're going to get a break too. So, we'll be able to, I know where this team's at. I know what they need right now. Got a real good pulse on what we need as a group, and then this thing just gets so sharp. These guys will get where they're bulletproof, man, and they're starting to feel that. But this week we'll put a little edge on them.
Is this long a break as far as competition good for you too, or do you get a little stir crazy that you don't have a meet coming up?
It doesn't change anything. It changes that, you can. I don't want, relax is not the right word. It changes that. Okay, man, maybe I can take a little bit more time to watch a little bit more film. I don't have to pack all this in. Getting ready for our next opponents. But man, the whole thing is to continue to move forward. And one thing I've challenged our team is that it doesn't matter the day. The date on the calendar is irrelevant as far as us making progress and moving forward. So, I've had multiple guys, hey, coach, can we do something today? Can we get some work in? I want to get better today. And so I like that. I don't know, I've tried not to differentiate days too much. Every day's a day to get better. So I'd say, do we kind of take a break? No. But, you don't have that competition. So I think guys can take a little breath. And, from a weight control perspective, we've went 1, 2, 3, 4, it's 5 weekends in a row. So, it's good to have this weekend off. All right. February, I guess I know it's a week out, but February 14th, be our last home duel versus West Virginia. Want to have that place packed. I'll tell you one thing, these seniors, they've earned that. They deserve it, and I know our fans will show up because they always do. So just reminding you that we'll spend Valentine's Day together. All right. Go Panthers.